Hey, how you doing? This is John, and welcome to John's Long Box. Having a little bit of technical difficulty here because I keep saying that I broke this and I glued it wrong. Well, I twisted it and snapped it off, so it is just precariously hanging on. All right, so the more I deal with it, the worse it's going to get. Okay, so let's deal with it like this. All right, so how's everybody doing? All right, as you can see, I got my Snuggie on. And let's address the chat. So first thing, this comic can be found here on Genuine Comics. My buddy Dave Brink, he lives over in the Netherlands. So you're going to see a European doing American-style superhero comics, and you decide how good they are. I really, really like them. I don't do new comics, but I see this is like 2020, so I'll show this comic. Plus, I don't think Dave will mind. My comic, Heroic Tales, is still available on Fund My Comic. I've been getting like one sale a day ever since they started hitting. So let's see if the streak can continue. You could also get Perfect 10 number 5 and Power Trip. It's another one of Genuine Comics books. I got Power Trip number 1. It's also excellent on Indiegogo right now. Thank you, Marcus. And we got a Perfect 10 exclusive Fund My Comic cover on Fund My Comic. Jimmy is here. The doctor is in. Heroic Tales, Marcus here, and then Marcus is responding to Jimmy. So thanks a lot, everybody. I'm just filibustering while people show up. Let's take a sip of coffee. Last night, I went to bed at like 10 o'clock, which is early for me on the weekend. And then I woke up at 4:30, and then I passed out. So I almost missed this. I just woke up. I got nonsense. I didn't even clean off my desk. Like I said, this is precarious. I got to re-glue this. See, it could just come right off the stand, and then it just has to, like, friction will hold it in. That was stupid to even do that, I guess. All right. I'm just amazed that the camera still works after all the nonsense I just put it through. But we got Zach 10. All right, the drive-by blessing. Now we can begin. That's what I was waiting for. So this is the departure from my normal Sunday comics, in that my Sunday comics, I've been doing like 20, 30, 40-year-old Marvels and DCs and stuff like that. This is going to be annoying because it's loose and just rocking at every step of the way. But what... Sorry about this, guys. But this is an indie comic. It's relatively new, so the only way to get this comic is this particular comic. The only way to get it is this Genuine Comics link. It's older, and you can get the issue 5 that's currently on crowdfunding. So let's check it out. There's a couple of different covers, but as you can see, this is Pow Roderick. This is 2020. So there we go. I'm going to open it up now. We got enough people watching. So we got creator and writer Dave Brink. Dave Brink's been on my channel a few times, full disclosure. I've been on his channel a few times. Pencils and Inks, Pow Rodericks. Color art, Daniel Rodriguez. That name should be familiar because it is the same colorist for the Patriarch stories in Heroic Tales, my comic. So if you read my comic, Heroic Tales, the colorist is the same for Patriarch, and Oscar is going to be doing Mary Sue, and Oscar also did the Unheroic Tales. So I want to be consistent with that. So Daniel will be doing the Patriarch stories, and Oscar will be doing the backup stories, and then Oscar and I will be doing the full art and colors for Eddie is Doomed. He's got the indicia down here. So what year did this act? So this came out 2020, Perfect 10 2020. So I don't feel it's too new. Like it, I'm having a moral dilemma here because I try not to show all of two new comics, but the active campaign is over, and I really like this. I think Dave will understand. I'm doing this out of love, not out of like digital piracy for his comic. So here we go. Why is Superman hosting today? I'm surprised he has friends with John, but I hope he's okay. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, but fuel oil is expensive, so I would rather just throw on a Snuggie than turn up the heat. I think thank the Lord for well-placed mist. Yes. The studio was a great one last night. Yeah, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, the studio is a show on, was it 7 Eastern Standard Time on Don Draws. That's his YouTube channel, and it's an open invite. I popped in for a little bit, and they talk while drawing. They pick like a character or a topic and just draw it. Last night they did Deadpool. So what do we have here? 3 panels. We got a hot chick arising from the steam. Catches your eye. Again, it's sexy without it's cheesecake. I think Dave understand, but it doesn't cross any lines. And then immediately we got monster attack, full splash page. Too late, Doc. And what's going on? That's just it. What is going on? All we know is a red wolf, cyber wolf looking guy is attacking, and immediately she springs to action. She just came out of some sort of tube. She ain't got no time. She ain't got no time to get dressed. Monsters attacking. You do what you got to do, and she's jumping around. Well placed debris. And well placed. She's got what like electrical cabling over here, and she jams it in the monster's mouth, and she's just fighting as hijinks ensue. So what's going on? She can speak English already, and well placed debris, and look at this. More guys attack. Good for you. Look at this guy. Tell me that is not awesome. Awesome design. The only problem so far is what's everybody's names. You know what I mean? Like I'm into names, superheroes, supervillains. I want to know their names. The names tell you so much. Now, in the old X-Men, I'm sorry about this shaky camera. In the old X-Men, and whatever, they would put little boxes above their names. I could see that. Like the old Silver Age, they would put like all the characters over here, like roll call. It's kind of hokey, but I kind of like that too. So at this point, I'm like, I want to know everybody's names, but they kind of just explain it. So what does he say? Seems like we have more than a few over there, Chernobyl. So this guy is named Chernobyl. So now you're and it shows. So look at this guy. He's got the green, glowing green has always been like comic book video games for like radioactivity and poison. He's got the skull and he's got this radioactivity suit, and his name is Chernobyl. Perfect. You know what I mean? It's just well named. Now, what is her name? And we already know that the naked hot chick, her name is Perfect 10 for really logical and meta reasons. That it's just perfect. It's just perfect. That poor man, what did he do to him? The same thing we'll do to us if we don't get out of here. So what's going on? Okay, so let's backtrack a second. Hot chick emerges from the tube. That's it. She's an artificial humanoid, and she's perfect. She's the 10th experiment that works. All these other humans, they didn't make it. So she is the 10th artificial creation, and she's perfect. And she's a hot chick, so she's a perfect 10. The name is perfect. It's so good. It works on a couple of levels, as most superhero names should. And what is it? She doesn't know what's going on. Obviously, she was like programmed with the ability to just of self-preservation, and she's programmed with the ability to speak English. But she doesn't have like a knowledge of like what's going on. So that's such a good, easy trope. It almost writes itself. So she's learning everything as we're learning everything. Like the most notable example I could think about this is the first Hellboy movie with that new agent who wasn't in the second movie. because he served his purpose. His purpose was you learn as he learns. So what did they tell her name? Iris, get Busybody. So she's Busybody, and she could move everybody around like a Harley Quinn, on strings. Not even the thickest door could withstand her ability to porcelain. So she's Porcelain Doll over here, and Porcelain. If I had a character named Porcelain, which I do. So and now Dave, I love Dave, but he's also infuriating because now I had a radioactive guy named Chernobyl who pretty much had the same design. Busybody I didn't have, but that is a great name. But I do have a character named Porcelain Doll, which is super different enough that if I ever do show her in the comic, it would be different enough. But her ability is she can detect weaknesses, break things since porcelain's fragile. Okay, that different direction than my version, but different enough that I could introduce. I have so many characters that overlap with his name that I actually emailed Dave and be like, "Are you going to be mad?" Because he's fast and he's 5 years ahead of me. So he's 5 years ahead of me. He's got Perfect 10. He's got Power Trip. He's got like a couple of comics out. So he probably has like 35 characters already. Believe it or not, I already had a whole adventure called Perfect 10. If you go to www.villainsvigilantesforum.com, you can find that adventure where they find an artificial woman named Perfect 10. And she's a badass. So Dave, you're killing me, Dave. And that adventure is something like 10 years ago, so you can actually see. So what do they do now? The scientist finds her costume, and he's giving her a costume, and you're a highly sophisticated biosynthetic metahumanoid. Every fiber in your body resembles human tissue, apart from the fact that it improves on it tenfold. So she's 10 times better. She's perfect. She's perfect. She's number 10, and she's like Bo Derek, that movie 10. She's a perfect 10. It's just such a great name. I should get all the character sheets just to prove to you, like, I came up with a lot of these names too, but me and Dave read the same comics. So now, he's showing off all of the other, like right over here. I would have had like their code names, so we know who they are. But you're learning them as we're learning them. So look at this. We got a full page over here now. Perfect 10 is now armed. Again, I just realized I've been drinking a Cafe Bustelo because I'm out of the Tim Hortons. So I just realized I'm not checking the chat. But here we got this particle pulse handguns could be set to stun, unlike the motley crew of maniacs. So I'm not into killing. Boom, boom, boom. She just starts shooting them all. She's fighting them all. She has she has everything, again, 10 times the agility, 10 times the strength, 10 times, the intelligence of a normal human. This guy's firing. He's freaking out. Sorry, but I need this man in one piece. See, that's what you don't understand. Chernobyl just comes over here. He ain't going to get taken down by pop guns. He just, and I like he's leaking this comic book radiation, half cloud, half smoke. It's just so cool. Very menacing. So let me go back to the chat because I've been so focused. I'm so focused on this camera. You can see it wobbling. This gives me Garden of Eden vibes. Creative. I'm glad I could catch this stream. Believe it or not, me and him were chatting through Twitter about comic book creation. It was a lot of fun. He was telling me about his world. It's finding a good way to promote genuine comics. Yeah. Going to do some coloring. Skull of the Jar looks evil, but let's not get prejudiced. Yeah, I know. Just because you're an evil-looking skull in a jar with a radioactive symbol glowing green, poisonous, radioactive, doesn't mean you're evil. Dave knows how to write superheroes. Yes, at Dojo Con Comics, he's another one. He was on my channel and promoted his comic, which is live right now. I forget the site, Marcus, if you can find Dojo Con Comics. But he's got a super team. and he's another one who gets superheroes. You know, I don't mean to set myself up as the authority on superheroes, but I just love superheroes so much that I feel like there's a way to do them right and there's a way to do them wrong. And Dave Brink, the proof is in the pudding, whereas Dave and I have so many overlapping concepts. You know, I'm just like 5 years behind him, you know what I mean? So I don't want people to think I'm copying Dave Brink. So like I get a little like sensitive about it, but the proof is you can see them all on my forum, you know, stories. I literally have a story called Perfect 10. we usually pick in Don, and though John caught some stories on the show. Oh yeah, we pick on Don. Yeah, we everybody picks on everybody. RJ William, happy Sunday, happy Sunday to you. Yeah, just so much caffeine. RJ's trying to get on the channel, and we got to figure out a date. Mondays and Tuesdays are no good for me because I have game nights on. I have 2 different game groups on Mondays and Tuesdays, so and he's not available. So we'll have to work something out. Maybe a let me know if a Saturday or Sunday is good. It's more than impressive that Dave is so good with naming superheroes, given that English isn't even his first language. Absolutely, good point. Good point. He speaks Netherlands. You know, what is it? Dutch, Holland. You know, what is the language over there in the Netherlands? He speaks Dutch. You know, so he does this all the second language, and then his names fit so well. Is she 10 times nicer or 10 times meaner? Well, she's 10 times as powerful. And I know this was supposed to be a funny joke, a flippant comment, but that's one of the things that I like about this is she doesn't know which side she's on. This is all like 10 minutes. She's been alive for 10 minutes and already she's being attacked. And she finds out proof that this guy's a good guy. You know, I'm pretty sure this guy's a good guy unless Dave is going for a long con. But we don't know that this organization that she's worked for are the good guys. There's compelling proof that they might be just as bad. You know what I mean? So she's a good guy. He's a good guy. So I have somebody to root for. I don't like that deconstructive superhero thing. Well, even the good guys are bad guys and even the bad guys. No, he's doing it right. She's a good guy. The scientist is a good guy. And they may or may not be hoodwinked by an organization that does bad stuff. You know, like, let's be realistic. Are the CIA good guys? You know, I get so mad, like now that, like, you know, when Trump first became the president, you know, I'm a Trump supporter. I'm sorry. And they were like, well, the CIA doesn't like him. And I'm like, you're progressive. You're going to argue that the CIA are good guys after like years of telling us like the CIA started wars and sold, you know what I mean? Like now all of a sudden they're the good guys, you know, whatever. But that's what this organization is. It may be shady, you know. Oh, thank you, Marcus. Marcus puts in my forum. When you get to my forum, there's going to be like an open like windows, and then you got to click on the word forum as one of the choices to go there. Yes, Dutch. Again, so much this caffeine is just giving me the jitters. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Crenshaw. How you doing? How you doing? Dojo Con Chronicles 100. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you. I backed this book, and I really want to read it. So how you doing, Dojo Con Comics? Did you hit your goal? Like, will this be published? Are you still waiting to hit the goal? Because this looks good. And like I said, I'm not trying to set myself up as the arbiter of all things superhero, but I think in this indie field, Marcus loves superheroes too, but Marcus isn't crowdfunding a comic just yet. But I think I'm one of the crowdfunding creators that is just screaming cape shit, for lack of a better term. I love superheroes. I love classic blue sky superheroes. So I'm one of the louder vocal proponents of it, and I kind of demand a lot about them. I don't like the subverting expectations. I was all into it in the 80s when Frank Miller and Alan Moore and all these guys were doing it, you know, and I really liked Warren Ellis, you know, and I love the Authority and Stormwatch. But man does not live by bread alone. Like, I want good guys. I want good guys. Stormwatch was interesting. I don't want Stormwatch interacting with the Justice League. They don't belong in the same universe. I want more Captain Marvel. I want more Superman. I want the big blue Boy Scout. I want the big red cheese. You know, I like that. Like, but I'm also a product of the times, and you know, there will be like some morally gray characters in Heroic Tales. You know, I am influenced by everything like that by what I've read, but ultimately there will be good guys. The Patriarch is not there to subvert you. He's not cheating on his wife. He's not beating his kids. You know, he's not, you know, working for some organization to trick everybody. He is what he is. He's a good guy. I'm not saying there won't be characters that are like that, but there will be characters like that if I make it down the line, kind of to show you how good the Patriarch is as a foil to him. And I like that. So again, I'm rambling because I'm just making a point. So I feel strong when I find other people, like-minded people. And I think Dave Brink is one of these people that like superheroes. Now, he likes a little bit more like 90s. You know, to me, this is 90s comics, but well written. Another one who does 90s comics well written is Project Nemesis. But Project Nemesis, he makes no bones about it. It is firmly like gray, and the superheroes are, you know, there's good guys who are in a horrible world. Like, that's a little bit more morally ambiguous than normal, but I do like it because it fits his world, if that makes sense. But Dave Brink gets superheroes. He gets the good names. He gets the costumes, the power sets. He gets them all. And I'm still learning his world. 5 issues have gone by in Perfect 10, and it's really like only like a day or two. You know, it's just her just like fighting for survival. So I'm trying to figure out, like, and then he's got like the Flying Dutchman, who's a good Superman kind of guy. You know, of course he's from Holland, so the good Flying Dutchman is like a premier superhero. Now, Dojo Con Comics, I haven't read yet. It's not out yet. But just when he was on my channel and in describing his characters, he gets the characters, he gets the costumes, he gets the power sets. So I'm excited to read it. You know, I don't know. I like what I like. And while I'm talking about this, Creative MW Personal and I were chit-chatting, and he was telling me about his superhero. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it yet, so I won't unless he confirms. But we were going over, and it seems like he's on a superhero path that I like. So I'm looking forward to what he comes out with. Again, unless he comes back and tells me I'm allowed to talk about what we talk about, I don't want to be the one to spoil his stuff. It's looking very bleak. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! I want to get Dojo Kun's comics. Oh no! I just think that right now is a bad time to launch a campaign. Maybe after Christmas. I mean, Mike Baron has he's only doing like 20 grand, and I mean, you and I doing 20 grand is let's run around and scream and yell and shoot fireworks into the sky. But Mike Baron doing 20 grand is not that great, you know. And I just think right before Christmas is a bad time to launch a campaign. I'm waiting till after Christmas before I launch Heroic Tales #2. But Dojo Cook, I'll help you as any small way that I possibly can. 58 Underground. Hello, longtime Genuine Comics fan. Also picked up Heroic Tales. Oh, thank you. May I ask, where are you? And did the comics come undamaged? The shady organization is trying to serve a good purpose with good agents. More interesting. Oh, then the good guys were secret. Yeah. Yes. I guess I'll talk about it now because my mind's going in a million directions from too much caffeine. But I like the individual, and I like that this individual 10, she's a good guy, and she you know, right now she's just thrust into a situation and has to deal with it. And what did she say? Good thing these particle pulse guns can be set to stun. Unlike this motley crew of maniacs who have it out for us, I'm not into killing. So, you know, she just became alive. and she already has a value for human life. We're being set up with that she's a good guy. This scientist, you know, he's a mere human. He's scared for himself. He could have fled, but what did he do? He released Perfect 10 basically to save her life, and now he's suffering the consequences of, it's not sure if he's going to survive. We got these super powered hitmen. Now we established that there's two good people to root for, but there could be a shady organization that is trying to serve a good purpose with good agents, right? And I will give that slack because it's an organization. It's bureaucrats. Like if the Avengers becomes like 100, like I keep saying, I'm not much of a joiner. I believe in the individual. I like individuals. Like George Carlin says, I like people. I like the individual person. It's groups that I have problems with. Because once you form groups, there's rules, there's regulations, there's you know, you have to, there's groupthink. So I could see like SHIELD, you know, or the CIA like doing dirty deeds for the greater good. But the individual, I think, has like more freedom to be pure good. You know, am I making sense? I wish I could back Doja. Oh, yeah, well, retweet him, help him out. This space is tough for good guy superheroes. Yes, absolutely, I agree. Absolutely, I agree, Marcus. This space is tough for good guy superheroes. You know, which is why I want to defend Dave Brink. Not that Dave Brink needs defending. You know what I'm talking about. Which is why I want to see like Dojo Comics and Genuine Comics, and of course my comics succeeding. And now we have the opposite end of the spectrum, Brian Bao, who does ambiguously gray monster comics. And Brian and I had an interesting conversation. First off, thank you, Brian. Your video is selling me on the series. I think I need to catch up on it. Yeah, I think there's a catch-up tier on his campaign. Geez, since I got to the car accident, man, I get a little worried. Like words elude me, you know, like little fishies that I have to get a net and catch. And sometimes those fishies are faster than my net. But Brian Bao has a wonderful comic called Wolf and Batsy. He was formerly with Alterna, and now he's doing it on his own with Brain Rot Comics, not Brain Rot, Bloody Weirdo Comics. And he just finished up a really successful campaign for issue 13. But we were talking, somebody on Twitter just posted morally gray characters are boring. You know, we want a good guy, we want a bad guy. And I instantly agreed with them because I'm coming from a superhero perspective. You know, I want the patriarch to be a good guy. You know, I want the bad guys to be bad guys. And then Brian was just like, yeah, but what about like a cowboy or a detective, or in his case, monster? And then I was like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I you know, I'm prejudiced with my thing, which is superheroes. Like it's not edgy. When people tell me about the Homelander, I'm like, it's been there, done that. You know what I mean? How many evil versions? Even DC has an evil version of Superman for 30, 40 years. Even Marvel has an evil version of Superman for 30, 40 years. You know, the Homelander, that's trite at this point. And another point is Superman would mop the floor with the Homelander. Superman doesn't come out at level 10. Superman comes out and, like, you know, uses the necessary amount of power. The Homelander has no restraint. You know, his Homelander just comes out swinging, you know, using laser beams and blowing stuff up. Superman doesn't do that unless absolutely necessary. So Superman would beat the Homelander any day of the week. And pick up Wolf and Batsy. Marcus, could you put a link for brianbao.net in the link? I did. You could talk about it in a bit. Okay. He said in a bit, so that means probably not in this video. St. Louis packaging had a crease, but the comic was pristine. Good. That's, and I just put out the last of the comics yesterday, and then I got another order, so I got to go to the post office, drop off one more order tomorrow. At least you could blame it on a car accident. My brain is just wearing out on its own. Yeah, I know. It's not where you start, but where you go. Wolf and Batsy are literal monsters with violent instincts. I haven't read the whole series yet. Well, that's where Brian, I'm not going to spoil it, but that's where Brian gives you a gut punch later on. I was like, oh. But they're monsters. They're, you know, I consider, like, I consider myself the superhero expert in this area, you know, because I'm always talking about. I consider Brian the monster expert, and I do have a monster comic that I would like to do at some point in the future, and I asked Brian for advice and information, and what do you think about this, and you know, does this make sense? Because he's I tried to not stump, but I was talking horror movies with Brian, and he not shut me down, but he knew. Not only did he know what I was talking about, but he explained the cinematographer, the director, the backstory behind these. And I was like, all right, you win. You win. Oh, no, I mean, you could talk about the character. Just try not to go too deep into the world. But yeah, he showed me a picture of a character with a torch symbol on it, and kind of like a militaristic, like umlaut. Not umlaut. What are they called? With the shoulder, but it was pretty cool looking, and I was just like, and he said, "What do you think this guy's powers would have?" And I'm like, I said, going on instinct, his name would be the Torchbearer. He would be like a peak human, maybe with some light or flame powers. You know, give him yellow hair so it looks like fire, but don't put fire. And I was pretty close. He was Captain Liberty. He's like the Superman type of his world. And that's all I want to talk about. I don't want to give the backstory of his, but we were talking about the world building aspect there. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Is Wolf and Batsy number 13 Kickstarter, and here's BrianBao.net. So let's go back to the series. So now Hot Chick is, you know, wearing skin tight outfit again. Pow's art is amazing. Yeah, it's such good superhero art. You know what I mean? Like, let me ask Brian. I got Brian here watching. Would this work with Wolf and Batsy? Maybe not with this bright coloring, you know. But this is such good. Like, I would love. I already, you know, I didn't steal Daniel Rodriguez. You know, I asked Dave if he was available and would he mind. And Daniel, so this is the same colors that's coloring my comic. You know. But I would love to see Pow do like a backup, you know, in you know, because Renzo's my guy. I always want to work with Renzo, you know. So now Chernobyl and Perfect 10 are fighting. And what is he doing? Is he lying to her? But he's sowing seeds of doubt in her mind right here. Now, it works on so many levels. Is the organization that she's working for corrupt? You know, is the organization corrupt? Could be. She's smart enough to realize, because she's perfect, you know, her intelligence is above a mere human. She's smart enough to realize, even though she's been alive for like minutes at this point, she's like, yeah, you know, you put one person on a room, on an island, fine. You put two people on an island, I think the two people could come up with. You put three people on an island, like, corruption starts. And when I say corruptions, is like, you're not going to voice your full opinions because, you know, it's hard to it's bad. It's hard enough to get like one person in on everything, and then you get three people in, you know, and then multiply that by an organization with rules and standards, you know. So she understands, but he's also a radioactive skull in a jar. Is he lying? I don't know. So it's compelling. So as she's getting overwhelmed by this guy, like, she's 10 times stronger than a normal 115, 20-pound woman. This guy's Iron Man over here. So this guy puts a bomb on him, a magnetic bomb, you know, that pulls him away. So he's establishing himself that he's a mere human. He's brave. He's risking himself. He's doing the right thing. I love this ray blast, you know. You go, looking forward to Kill Him Dead, you know. Like I said, so he monologued, he tried to sway her, did the Darth Vader, join me, you know, and it didn't work. So now I like this. They're running away, and now she slams the professor. And she's like, how dare you make those decisions for me? Who do you think you are? He goes, is it true? Did I kill people? Oh, I'm afraid to touch the camera, guys. I'm sorry. But look at this. Is it true? Did I kill people? Why can't I remember everything? Your memory gets wiped after every mission. Trust me. Some things you would rather forget. So now we're given a crucial bit of information that may change everything. She could be a murderer. She could be a bad guy. But right now, she's in a state of grace. Right now, she has no memory. You know, it's like her short-term memory gets purged after every mission, but she still has the long-term memory of fighting skills, of the language. So there you go. She's like, I never wanted this. You're right to be angry. Things get out of control. So this is the rest of my life, fighting to survive, running from superhero-powered murderers out for revenge. You know, because perhaps you're trying to salvage your last assassin so I could be reprogrammed again. I'd rather die than let that happen. You know, it's not that. It's my wife. She's sick. Now we're getting this. So this is an existential crisis. Perfect 10. She just found out that she may or may not be an assassin. She just found out that the bad guys may have legitimate reason for wanting her dead. And this guy may or may not be an accessory to her being an assassin. You know, and it's only because his dying wife caused him to reevaluate everything. It's a deep comic. It's deep, twists and turns. And this is the first issue. What a great setup. What a great setup. I'm afraid to move. So he's, you know, he buried the wife. We got this black panel indicating death, sorrow, and a flashback. How it's great comic book superhero storytelling. Before I turn the page, let's check out the comments. James Griffin, hot chick, flame powered super female. Well, she's not flame powered. Oh, hot chick. Oh, I get it. Hot chick. That's the name of it. Jimmy's. For those of you who don't know what Jimmy's talking about, Jimmy is Jimmy and I've been friends since third grade, and he's one of the guys that I play my role playing game with, and his characters. I'm trying to think. Are any of Jimmy? Unfortunately, none of Jimmy's characters are debuting in issue number 2. My friend Paul's characters, my friend Mike's character, but Jimmy's character is probably going to get his own full story. It coming up in more ways than one. I just realized. So we always bounce ideas. So hot chick, that would be a name for a superhero, right? A hot chick, a bird woman with flame. What is this? A non-mainstream book? Cool. Yes, this is an indie book. This is a crowdfunded book. On my way to church. Catch up later. You got it. Radioactive Skull Guy sold me even more than the hot chicks. I think I mean Brian likes his monsters. Brian, what about the did you see the werewolf guy at the beginning? Did you see the red cyber? I think his name is Cyberwolf. There you go. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Nothing, Brian. Nothing. Look at that. Brian. Okay. So I'm just teasing Brian because he likes his monsters. So now we're going through, you know, a little bit of Venture Brothers. If you watch Venture Brothers, you know about the slugs. So these are all of these cyber enhanced, you know, 1 to 10 of these not monsters, of like clones, synthoids, androids, you know, and they manufacture these things. It's called the Perfection Program. Whatever purpose Division M had for these synthezoids, it had nothing to do with my wife. To my surprise, Max was very upfront about it. In fact, he wanted me back on the project, the Perfection Project, he called it. You see, Division M is a global agency that monitors and studies all metanormal activities. They oversee registration and training of ultraviolet, preferably to shape them up to become the super cops we call meta marshals. So, unfortunately, it seems that most ultraviolets see their powers as weapons. So what's going on? Unfortunately, and I, as much as I like to think about superhero stuff, I do agree that if you, let's just say I could snap my fingers and 1 out of 5,000 people on the planet become superheroes, which would mean a lot of superheroes. I don't know, what's 9 billion divided by, I'm making up numbers, doing bad math. So we got 2 million superpowered beings on the earth. I would say that most of them, 75% of them would be villains. You know what I mean? Like power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts. So most of the beings in this world who develop metahuman, superhuman, paranormal abilities become bad guys. They become slaves to their own vice, and they make these perfect things to guide them, you know. So she may or may not have been created to kill metahumans, and now she's like, so is she a good guy? Is she not a bad guy? Is he telling the truth? You know. Thus, therein lays the conundrum. So look at this. I just like all of these. You know, we got sexy cleavage girl over here. We got like big cyborg guy. He's got a cigar. He's got big old guns. Look at this, Brian. Check out this guy. You got Brainiac, cyber spider guy, big old elephant guy. You know, you want monsters? They got monsters. And then these, you know, Perfect 2 over here kills. You know, we got this Wolverine looking guy over here. And sometimes they get arrested. They go to this. You're never going to believe this, but Dave Brink is, and I got Jimmy Griffin over here in the audience, but in my superhero world, there's the Deep Six holding facility, and it's a super paranormal prison under the ocean so that they can escape. Okay, escape. Where are you going to go? You know? So, and he has the underwater prison Atlantis. Dave, have you been reading my forum? Have you been reading? Because the Deep Six holding facility has been in my game for 20 years. So now she's like, I got to fix this camera. I want to make it right, 10. Let's make it right. Because I'm sorry, you're sorry about your wife, you know, and then found you. And now we got another monster for Brian over here. We got this plant-looking creep. Damn, those Brainiac sure look bad. Those sure made a looker. Too bad we have to kill you. I haven't even lived yet. He goes, we're going to paint your room with your artificial blood, assassin. You know, so again, the only problem is I want to know their names right away. You know, I asked David, he gave me a list of all their names. I should have accessed that list. So now she's fighting, you know, nice little booty shot. She's kicking this plant guy. 10, your gloves can translocate any weapon to your armory. Boom. So Dr. Pratt, pay attention, girl. Don't finish it too quickly. Brother, leave some for me. I will not kill anymore. So you see, like, the weapons get teleported directly to our hand, and the weapons don't work unless the circuitry of the uniform, you know, and matches the uniform reads her fingerprints and everything like that, so that it won't work unless she's using it. And I love this. Pow, 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 pow. She's just blasting them over here. My leg. Stalk. That's the plant guy's name. Stalk. You know, again, she's carrying them out. We got all these dead people over here. I don't know if this is a coloring error or because it looks like, oh, maybe that's hair. Maybe that's hair. And then never mind. Here we go. We get away. Now here comes the wolf again. And now they're outside. They made it outside to this like idyllic situation. And I love the technology that he draws. You know, and she's trying to flee, and she can't flee because this wolf is coming. And what do? They just blow up the whole facility. And now we got the wolf. Can't summon a weapon. Of course not. The compound, everything in it is destroyed. So now she's on her own fighting a wolf. And the wolf is just barely hanging on. She kicks him off into the woods. And now they get away. It's like a temporary respite. You know, good job, 10. Now this guy who's in charge of everything, she's annoyed with him. You know what I mean? Like, you're the one who designed this whole project, blah, 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 and call me Virgil, and we're family now. You know, he lost his wife. She has nobody else. They both risked each other's lives for each other. That makes a bond, and that's a good ending. So now we got some pinups over here. Fabio Samo and Brian Arfel Magna. I'm not even gonna read these names. I'm just gonna butcher them. So we got the Chernobyl, Busybody. I think he's called Cyberwolf, Porcelain, I never caught this guy's name. I think these guys, I don't know their name, Double Trouble or something like that. Perfect 10 versus the Click Unique, and Double Trouble on her. Oh wow, Jim Jimenez and Daniel Rodriguez. Daniel's the colorist. We got Daniel Rodriguez coloring it, and Leonardo Gondim. Perfect 10 versus Chernobyl. Bill Maus, Eder Messes, and Daniel Rodriguez. Look at all these guys coming up, and these are also available. I got Dream Girl, I got Earthling, but I didn't read Earthling yet because I'm missing issue number 1, so I'm holding off. I got like 2 to 4, and here's the back cover. So there you go. And Gilbert Monsanto, he drew this. Gilbert Monsanto's been drawing villains, vigilantes characters for years. My friend Jerry, who used to play in our games, he commissions, like Jerry will make up like a lot of villain vigilante characters. If you go to Facebook, there's a villains and vigilantes forum. I'm also the administrator for that. And Jerry posts all of his creations, and he has Gilbert draw them. So it's kind of funny that Gilbert has this connection to villain vigilantes and superhero comics, and that's my bread and butter. So there you go. This was the first issue of Perfect 10. I think it's such a good superhero comic book. It's a world of gray, but there's a good superhero in it. That's okay. The world is gray. My world. It's no secret the mayor of Science City is a villain who may or may not be possessed by the devil. The main industrialist is a greedy, capitalist. I'm gonna have like a military villain who may or may not be in an ancient war cult. The Brotherhood of the Ram. Things like that. So yeah. There's nothing wrong with like having morally gray world as long as you have like beacons of hope in them. Like Invincible, the character Invincible is a good guy in a gray world. That's fine. Just the boys, everybody sucks. There's nobody to root for in the boys. Let's check out the comments. Where Radioactive Skull Guy sold me even more than the hot chicks. I think I need this book. There you go. You keep using the term hot chick, so it popped into my mind. Nice. I like Cyberwolf. Cyberwolf is way better than Cyberfrog. And then Genuine Comics. You could go there and get the back issues. Tell them I sent you. Cyberwolf is cool, but Radioactive Skull Guy is more original and a better fit for a bad guy and a superhero. Yeah, I like Chernobyl better. I like Chernobyl. Nothing wrong with a wolf-based villain, but I do like, to the fact that I have literally the same character. Jimmy's probably fought him, one of his superhero characters. We should call the studio show with Dave's characters. Yeah. Perfect 10 and Power Trip is available now. So as normal, I'll keep pontificating while people keep commenting, but Dave has a drink with Brink. That I think that's on at 2:00 every Sunday. I was the guest on that show once. He does on YouTube. Dave and Brian have a lot in common in that Brian, he likes his work to speak for itself, and not everybody is a weirdo like me that likes to go on YouTube and talk comics with people. Dave, he hates it. He absolutely says he hates that he has to go and talk, but he does it as a necessary evil. But he's a good guy. I really like his stuff. I don't think I'm telling too many tales out of school, Brian, when I say that you would, if you could just sell your comics without going on YouTube at all, you'd be happy. I do think that most comic book people, and when I say comic book people, I mean creators, fans, whatever. It's a solo activity. I'm just I guess I'm a weirdo who likes to, not that I'm going to invite 20 people around and let's just be quiet, read comics. You know what I'm talking about, but I'd like to talk about them. And to me, it's like, that's like my role-playing game is like my superhero group activity. You know, we all sit around the table, we get some food, and we pretend to be superheroes for a while. And I get to pretend to be some superheroes. I get to pretend to be some villains. You know, I get to pretend to be God, making up the whole world. It's a lot of fun. Geez, Jimmy, every once in a while would run a campaign, and I haven't been a character in like 10 years. Jimmy, when was the last time I was a character? Does Pow do interior artwork at every issue of Perfect 10? So far, yes. Yes, he does all the interior artwork, and Daniel does all of the coloring. So it's pretty consistent team. I think because Dave has a couple of different comics. I think Pow does a couple of comics for him, or at least like the Power Trip is an anthology with 3 different superheroes in it, and I think Pow does another trip. But I know that there's a Perfect 10 story where she teams up with somebody else and it's drawn by somebody else. Yeah, Jimmy's agreeing. He says a long time ago, Jimmy ran. I have a villain character called the Heavy Hitter, and I love the Heavy Hitter. He is such a jerk. He just, nothing is his fault. He wants to be a superhero, but that's too hard. The Heavy Hitter is governed by his baser instincts. He's just such a jerk, and he's got a gambling problem, and he kind of hates his dad. It's hard to be a superhero when you got those 2 flaws. But the Heavy Hitter his human stats are outstanding. He could be like a professional football player. He's just a jerk, and he's lazy, and he just wants the quick way to do everything. So he just thinks if he keeps gambling, he's gonna win one of these days. But he just keeps losing, and then he loses his temper, and he could transform into like so like, you know how like Peter Rasputin could transform into Colossus. He could transform into this like horrid Hulk-like creature, and then he could transform again. You know, but each transformation it's more strenuous. But he could transform into like a Hulk. He could transform into like a Colossus level badass, and then he could transform into a Hulk level badass. You know what I mean? Depending upon the situation. He's a lot of fun. And oh my God, is he a jerk? And then I have another superhero character called the Public Eye, who is my homage to all of the Ditko, like Mr. A and the Question. And it's funny because last time I used the Public Eye, we were in my 1-bedroom apartment in my house, and Jimmy and my wife was just like, "Man, were you creepy role playing that character?" And I'm actually developing a story for the Public Eye. I'm going to call him the Private Eye in the comics. So he's going to be a private detective type character, and I want to rework his origin a little bit and have him meet my Batman character. That's how I'm going to introduce him. As you know, it's the Batman character is always going to fight other superheroes. It's just the way it works. Yep. The Heavy Hitter is a total a-hole who blames everybody else, and he's so much fun. He's got a girlfriend that lives in a trailer park with and he's a deadbeat dad. He's just the worst. And he promises her everything, and when he says it, he means it. But then he goes and owes money because he's gambling debts. He goes to join another supervillain, and what was his name? The Frog, and the Frog was going to take over the world, and a giant mechanical frog. And he was just like, I don't want to destroy the world. He actually defeated the Frog. So now he's telling everybody he's a superhero, but he's still wanted because of a rampage to Las Vegas. It's funny. The Public Eye is creepy. Yes, he's supposed to be creepy. Headed out, but I'm listening. Okay. Oh, I saw a comment that just went. Oh, okay, Matthew Craig. I just launched my Fund My Comic yesterday. Cool. What's it called? We'll put it in the chat. What else? What else is going on? Anything else? It's clobbering time Friday. It's going to be Plastic Man versus Mr. Fantastic. Usually now I talk about my chats. Monday and Tuesdays I have game nights. So, it used to be Monday and Thursdays, but Dominic just got a new job, so we had to switch. So what's going on this week? Oh, wow, it's December 1st already. So Friday I got Jason Sambro. We're going to talk about Jupiter. On Thursday I got Doc Blaylock. On December 6th, which is my birthday, I got Mike Barron at 7 o'clock. And then I might do a Crowdfunding 104 with Edward Lilly and Edward Arts, excuse me. Edward Lilly is my old roommate. Edward Arts at 7, no, at 8:30, and then at 10 o'clock we'll do its clobbering time. And then I got Sunday Comics the following a week from today. I don't know what I'm going to do just as of yet. And of course, I got 8:30 at the Fourth Age with RJ. I don't know what it is. The Night Slayers. So you have a comic called The Night Slayers on Fund My Comic. You know what? Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. Let's see. Where is it? I'm afraid to move this camera. I have to move the camera to get the keyboard out. So I'm just scrolling down. Fund My Comic. You know what? Let's do this. And let's look for the Night Slayers. Oh, you know what? I'll just move my keyboard and do it the right way. Oh, here it comes. It was just there. What happened to it? What? Okay. That is really annoying. As I go to click on it, it disappears. Why is it doing that? Okay, I don't know if I was hitting something, but here we go. Is the Night Slayers Michael Kricke's first comic? Okay, you got one backer right now. That's a good way to start. It's better than 0. And you got 89 days to go. 89 days. What's your goal? $800 goal. Okay. Night Slayers. All right. So we got that. I'm going to share this. This is Genuine Comics. I'm just going to make this big, and I'm going to clear that. And this is, so we got American Bliss. Here we got American Bliss. She's another hot chick fighting Chernobyl over here. See our collections. We got comic books over here. So this is a Perfect 10, hot chick with big guns. Dream Girl, hot chick. Power Trip. So this is Power Trip number 1. It's got 3 different superheroes in it. We got Ajax, The Awakening. I got this, but I didn't read it yet. It's lost in this pile over here. Earthling. Oh, this is the one that sold out. I asked if I could get a copy, and he says he doesn't have any copies. Crossworlds number 1, Earthling number 2, Earthling over here. But they're such good quality made. I got the American Blue. I got everything that you can get for Genuine Comics. Is more, and Earthling number 3, Earthling number 2. They're all sold out. I think I got the last copies of the Earthling comics. So there we go. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Genuine Comics. Oh, yeah. So there we go. Apparently, it's the first T-rated comic. What does T mean? What does T mean? Teen? What does T mean? No clue. No clue for what? What did I say? That's no clue. All right. Wow, I got over 50 people watching. Anybody want me to say anything? Anybody want to clarify anything? Anything you want to talk about? Otherwise, because I've been talking for an hour. Rated for teen. So what would my... we got a bunch of people. You see, I got my Villains Vigilante shirt on. We got a bunch of people who read my comic. What rating would you give my comic? Is it teen? Is it adult? Is it all ages? You know. So when you say teen, like it's definitely not for youngins. Like I know a couple of youngins who I forget who it was, but they posted their kid reading my comic. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. My friend Paul bought a bunch of copies. He wanted to give them out to real young kids, and he was like, "I can't give this to real young kids." I'm like, I'm not making Richie Rich comics. I liked Heroic Tales, by the way. It felt like a modern take on a Bronze Age comics, at least in the first story. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I was going for. That means I succeeded. So let me ask you this. Were you confused? Did the story feel disjointed at all? Like, that's because that's been my main criticism with a lot of underground comics. Not underground comics, with a lot of independent comics, is that they're disjointed, they're confusing to read. So, like some of them made absolutely no sense, which is my main criticism of early Image comics, that they were just a disjointed mess. So if you told me that you didn't like Heroic Tales, yeah, that's going to bother me. But if you told me that it was confusing and it made no sense, that means I failed. Like, I can't make you like something. Not everybody likes superheroes. Not everybody likes blue sky superheroes. Not everybody likes the Bronze Age. It seems like this area of crowdfunding, it seems like everybody is coming at it from a 90s love of comics, 90s Image. And I don't like 90s Image comics. This comic is a perfect blend of Bronze Age Marvel and 90s Image. Project Nemesis is Image comics done right. Dojo Con Comics, I want to know. I want to know. Please, let's get that comic done. What is this comment? Dale, what did you say? What is this comment? The story felt like a pilot, but it was very clear. Honestly, was rooting for Roebuck a little bit because Patriarch was starting to come off as smug. Okay. Roebuck will return if I make it far enough. And just keep in mind that he's got superpowers. He looks like he doesn't have superpowers, but he's got superpowers. So what do bugs do? Bugs, they could go into a chrysalis and change. So, but the Patriarch came off as smug. Oh no, I don't want that. I don't want him to be smug. I love 90s cartoon Spider-Man. Yeah, I love that too. And let's be if Roebuck is not, you don't want to root for him. He had very bad intentions. He looks like the underdog, but had he succeeded in his plan, it would have been bad for that redheaded woman. Let's just leave it at that. He had nothing noble in his heart, First person to tell me they were rooting for Roebuck, Dr. Roebuck. Poor Roland. All right, so anybody else? I've been talking for an hour. I got to clean up this basement. The main story felt good for kids, but the backup story was rated teen, much darker. Didn't like that implications were not resolved. Yes, that's the point of the story. Is Lucius Kane? I don't want to spoil it. Lucius Kane was at a crossroads, and he chose poorly. He chose, just like my heavy hitter character, he chose the easy path to success. And yes, it was a result. He's the villain. Lucius Kane is a bad guy. He was not a bad guy until he got the suit. The suit tempted him, and he failed. He succumbed to the power of the One Ring. He's bad guy. Yeah, that story was. I started to worry. Did I go too far with that story? So you be the judge. Did I go too far? Lost my internet connection. I'm bad. Go back about 10 minutes. Start over. Okay. Apparently, there were people rooting for the Joker even before the sympathetic Joker movie. Yeah, you know, there's women who write love letters to serial killers in jail. You know, people like their bad guys. Yeah, yeah. Now the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the first movie. I didn't see the second movie. I was sympathetic to the Joker. He had a bad life. He had troubles. He was faced with adversary. You know, he was picked on. You know, but that doesn't mean you get to kill people. You know, he was delusional. I liked the movie in the fact that it explained like how some people just feel they have nothing, you know, but you still don't get to kill people. You know, he was sympathetic, but not likable, which I thought was a good mix. You know, I don't like the Joker. To me, that was the closest I came to liking the Joker. I still didn't like him. He was a detestable person. He was a horrible person. He succumbed to all the troubles and tribulations in his life. You know, I don't know what else to say. I'm of the mind that Magneto, okay, interesting. Magneto is 100% wrong. He's 100% wrong. He's a supremacist. He's a supremacist. Do you honestly believe that the world would be good if Magneto was in charge? We read House of M that explains like he's horrible. He has no. Magneto is a really good villain to the point. I'm so mad at the first X-Men movie. Oh my god, the first X-Men movie could have been an important movie. They just botched it up. But Magneto, he was a Holocaust survivor. And then he became what he hated. He's a Nazi. Like it or not, Magneto became a Nazi. He's 100% wrong. It's not what you think. It's not what you say. It's what you do that makes you what you are. You know, he has these noble aspirations. We just want what's right for you. But he doesn't want what's right for you. And don't get me started on the X-Men because they bother me even more than Magneto because at least Magneto admits he's a murdering killer. Then again, my favorite Godzilla character is King Ghidorah, a genocidal dragon-like alien who murdered every living thing on Mars. I don't know anything. I know Brian is going to share, but I've never... I take it back. I watched exactly one Godzilla movie, the very first one, from a translated one from Japan. So it doesn't even have the Raymond Burr in it. Gojira, because I wanted to start at the beginning. And I liked it, but that's the only I've seen Godzilla movies. Like they were on TV when I was playing toys, but I never sat down and just absorbed and watched Godzilla movies. I don't know. I'm not a big kaiju fan. I've never seen a James Bond movie, and I've only watched Die Hard, last year. It's funny because I'm a real movie snob, I want to get back to the X-Men movie. You're going to get me pontificating about the X-Men movie, but the X-Men movie, the first one, I'm just so mad. What was the plot? What was Magneto's plan? Nobody likes us, so I'm gonna turn you into flawed weirdo mutants for reasons. It was so bad because the casting was good. It looked good. They had a budget. Now, I would rewrite the X-Men movie if I could go back in time, hold the bed at gunpoint, and it starts out with Rogue, and Rogue is there. She's a teenage girl. She's getting a little frisky with her boyfriend, and she starts kissing her boyfriend. And then the boyfriend starts to shrivel. Whoa, cut to, there's a Mexican standoff outside. She come out with your hands up, blah, 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 blah. The press shows up, mutants, blah, 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 mutants. And now the police go to arrest her. She's freaking out. The cops grabs her. The cops collapse. You know what I mean? She's trying to surrender because she's just a little girl freaking out. And the cops are getting crazy because the cops are dropping like flies. And they finally bring her in. Now she's, you get that picture of her going into the truck with cops being taken out because everybody touched her. You know what I mean? And now it's all over the mutants. Do you see the spinning newspaper, mutants? And what she's going to see her day in court. Did she do anything wrong? That's the issue now. So now Magneto shows up, blows up the jail cell, rescues her with the Brotherhood and Sabretooth and all these people. They're wasting cops and everything like that. And now the X-Men are just like, we gotta go get her and bring her back and have her stand trial, because we got to get, no right was ever just given and handed to us. Rights are fought for. We got to go and get this concept that she didn't do anything wrong. She was just an accident of birth. Mutant is, and this could have been a perfect stand for trans rights or women's rights or whatever nonsense rights you want to make. But so now the X-Men should have been fighting Magneto to have Rogue go back into jail and face and have a day in court to prove that it's not illegal to be a mutant. That would have been an important movie. Instead, we got kidnaps a senator and turns him into a fish creep. It was just so bad. So that's what I think of the X-Men movie. You never watched James Bond? I don't know if we could remain friends. I remember Live and Let Die was on. My brother and I had bunk beds, and I remember watching it. But I remember boat chases. I remember Dr. No, the laser beam, was gonna cut him and circumcise him. And I remember giggling as a little kid. My father's like, "What's so funny?" I said, "It's gonna cut his pee-pee off." Everybody in the family laughed. But that's about it. I've never been an action movie fan. I've never seen Speed. I've never seen Lethal Weapon. I don't know. I'm an artsy fartsy snotty movie goer. They watered down Rogue. Yeah, I was shocked to find out Rogue. Yeah, Rogue started as a villain. Rogue in Avengers Annual 10, her first appearance, she was a bad guy. She was a member of and she took out Thor. She took out, she's a powerhouse. And I'm also of the opinion that Rogue should not have this flight and vulnerability. She stole all of Captain Marvel's or Miss Marvel's powers, and she copied them and then kept them. To me, that ruins the uniqueness of Rogue. Should steal anybody's powers for a short while, and then they go back. Now she's known as Supergirl, who can absorb powers once in a while. You know what I mean? Like it kind of changed. She should just be this super sponge, with no set powers. That's what makes her unique. Now she can fly. She's got a vulnerability. She's like 20 other characters at the same time. But there you go. All right. Anybody got anything else you want me to talk about? Anybody want me to pontificate about anything? Genuine comics, quality paper, quality printing. I did this because I dropped it. So mad. But I don't know what else to say. I just really, really like Dave Brink's comics. I like Dave Brink as a person. I like him as a creator, and I like his creations. Have I seen X-Men Evolution? They went away from canon, but it was well done. No, I didn't see the X-Men 96 cartoon. By the time I quit reading the X-Men around X-Men 200, so by the time the X-Men started to boom, I was already done with them, because I became a big fan during the I think X-Men 112 was my first X-Men comic, and so I got it religiously from 112 to about 210 around there, and then I just quit. I just couldn't stand that they became morally gray, that the X-Men were willing to break all the rules. They wanted to be treated like everybody else, but then they became a perfect example of progressivism. We want the rights. We want to be treated like everybody else. But what we really want is special treatment, and they just whined and cried. And then the killing straw was Magneto gets arrested. He's standing before the World Court, and then the X-Men break into the court and rescue him. And then Sabretooth, they rescue Sabretooth. Sabretooth's a cannibalistic serial killer, and they harbor him in the X-Men. And what does he do? He's eating people. We want to be treated like everybody else, except when we get actual same treatment. We just want preferential treatment, and I just couldn't stand the hypocrisy of the X-Men. I couldn't stand that Xavier is every other week he's turning into Onslaught or the Enigma or the Shadow King. They were a bunch of, and then forget about it. The whole of Genosha, or Krakatoa rather, they could never go back. Marvel really needs to work on the X-Men problem. They're not good guys anymore. I've since bought like a big long box and finished the run of X-Men, but the magic's gone. They're not persecuted adventurers like they used to go into space and do all this stuff and space whales and the Shi'ar Empire, and then they became whiners who we just want to be treated like everybody else, but what we really want is preferential treatment. One particular issue, I think Wolverine ran off. So they all jump in a car. They're chasing after Wolverine, who's on a motorcycle, and they get chased by the cops. So what do? We don't have time for this. Cyclops blasts the cop's motorcycle and keeps on driving because they want to be treated like everybody else. I just can't stand the hypocrisy of the X-Men. Never saw. I love The Gifted. It was a short-lived series about what mutants would do without X-Men or the Brotherhood. Was it a comic book or was it a TV show? But there you go. So that's my feelings on the X-Men. I no wonder all the progressives love the X-Men, because they're the perfect example of progressivism. We're going to yell and scream, and we want preferential treatment. So there you go. Crazy hair up here. So I think I'll wind it down now. Thanks a lot for coming in. I can't believe how many people are watching my Sunday Comics. I remember when Sunday Comics was just me and like my friend Pete, just talking to each other. I gotta be thankful for everybody. So thank you so much. Heroic Tales is still available on Find My Comic. I got a bunch of I forget the exact number that I sold, but I got like a couple of hundred extra, because I'm hoping that issue 2 people are gonna want like issue number 1 and 2. I like this comment. I'm rooting for the Sentinels to take down the Muties. Yeah, the X-Men. If the X-Men moved into your neighborhood, you'd pack up and leave. They do nothing. They bring down the property values. They deserve persecution. So there you go. All right. Before I put my foot in my mouth even further, thanks a lot, everybody. And as always, this ends with a trailer for Heroic Tales, and we'll put that up. And thank you.